tell you what, I need to get a stronger table. Goodness. Everybody, welcome back to the Standard American Outdoors YouTube channel. Today is going to be a short, quick, and straight to the point video. I don't have much time. We're working on everybody's favorite Ruby, and what we're going to be doing is changing her wheel bearing today. The other side, the passenger side's already done. We're going to knock out the driver's side, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do. All right, let's hop into it. This one's real stubborn. Real stubborn. Alright, now while we let this sit, we're going to go ahead and pull the brake caliper off, because we're going to pull this whole rotor off. Now some people use zip ties, some people use bungee cords, some people use tie straps. I use these because I drive a truck and I use them every day and they are handy. Now you want to be careful you don't rip apart that hard line just off the rotor. That will do. Alright, let's see if these cone washers want to give it up a little bit. Now you can use an impact on these 12s right here. And this is just one way of doing it. You can hit it with a punch, you can hit it with a brass drift, but this is just one way of doing it. You could use an impact like I said, but you wouldn't have been able to really feel if you're going to strip the threads out or not. So you want to do it evenly. See how it's starting to back off? Now be careful, you're going to lose these cone washers because they'll shoot back at you like this one's probably going to do. See? Oh, there's that one. Put a little bit of tension on them, and that's all you have to do. There you go, there's that one. And there's that one. Back those out. Okay, now there's a snap ring that you really don't want to lose. I use my snap ring pliers. Of course, these are a little too small for the job, but we're making do. Just like that. Getting any value out of this video, go hit the like button, comment what you like about it. I want to know, what kind of rigs you guys working on? Is it just these 4Runners? Is it a 3rd gen pickup? Is it a 22RE, V6, 3BZ? I want to know what's really out there. What's everybody driving? And if you'd like to see continued content with these Gen 2 4Runners and the Gen 3 pickups, hit that subscribe button. This is all we do here. And this summer, going to be a lot of outdoors videos. Going on a road trip halfway across the country here in a couple months. So you guys are going to like that. And I'm going to show you, it's very important, how to preload these. And I'll show you when we get there. We get to that point. Now I want to know, you guys like me And before you put anything down on the table, you have to clean it, because I hate bearing grease. Let me know down in the comments. Now you want to bring it, the hub or the rotor, just off a little bit. There's a bearing retainer ring, or whatever you want to call it. That's what I call it. And sometimes you got the bearing stuck to it. They were a little warm. I'm going to take this off and see you guys at the shop. We're going to go work on it on the bench. See you in there. Now I like to do this for a few reasons. You get 2x4 kind of little blocks, and it keeps everything up off your table, and also it works real good when you're hitting out the bearing races, so you can actually pound that bearing, hit that bearing out. But right now we're just going to be cleaning. If you guys want to take a look, that's what the inside looks like. So what we're going to do now is pretty much just clean up everything and get everything, all the races and all that stuff exposed, so we can get our punch in there. And I like to leave this gasket on here until I'm at this point. It just keeps grease around here from getting too built up, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to go down, you know, and around these studs with a paper towel. I just find that it's a little easier, because this gasket, once you peel it up, you have a bunch of grease on it, so now you have very little cleanup. Now this runner is one of the rare unicorns and has 4-wheel ABS. You know what? Let me know if you have or seen a Gen 2 4Runner with 4-wheel ABS. Because I've only seen one, this one. We are going to be putting new seals, new races, new bearings, everything, the whole nine. And if you're going to do this, I recommend you save yourself some heartache down the road there, and only use Japanese bearings. Only use Japanese seals, because they last 3, 4, 5, 6 times longer. I mean, you can go for days. There's really no argument between generic Chinese bearings compared to Japanese bearings. There's no argument. So we're gonna pull that seal out. Like I said, we got brand new gaskets, brand new seals, brand new bearings. These are Koyos, these are Japanese. Brand new gaskets, brand new locking rings, the whole nine. And you can get them from Yota Shop. You can get them from, I think, Trail Gear. Trail Gear might be out of stock, but Yota Shop, I know for a fact, has them, and a few other places. Maybe Yota Masters. I know there's other ways of doing this. This is just the way I'm doing it, and it's quick. Don't get your panties in a bunch. So let's see how bad these bearings were. I think the owner said they were done semi-recently, which that looks to be the case. These are Timkins. If you're doing a wheel bearing job, just go ahead and get some stock in these shop towels, because you're going to be using about 3 pallets full, about 96 rolls per pallet. You're going to be using all those, so you better start buying now. Don't worry about getting anything right here on the rotor surface where it mates to the brake pad. You're going to brake clean that off anyways. Okay, now you don't have to do this. This is just a courtesy, and what I like to do for my buddy Jeff. You can follow him at DJ Yukon on all social medias if you're curious, if you're interested. He posts a lot of stuff with the old Ruby over there, and let's just say he likes to drive it, which is why it came back to me with some of the suspension problems it had. Just kidding, Jeff. We like that. Plus you keep me busy. So this is just a surface honer that I got off of, I think I got off the Mack truck guy. You can probably find them on Amazon or something like that. You hook them up to an old drill. And so what this does, it takes the glaze and the surface impurities, scuffs up the surface again so the pads can get a real nice bite. And if you like the smell of rust, go for it. And this works real good on flywheels. This is a mild steel that I got from my old job. So the idea behind this, these races are hardened steel. This, mild steel. This is a lot softer than anything in here. So this is gonna bend, break, chip, smush. Actually, it'll mold. I don't know if you can see that. But it'll move instead of chipping, anything like that, because we're actually gonna be using this to press in the new races along with the old races. And I'll show you how. So there's these little tabs, these little notches. See those little notches right there? There, there, one over there, over there. You have those on both sides. So right on that edge is actually where I'll be putting that steel rod there. You know, you always want to be accurate and know exactly where you're going to put your steel rod. Very important. Punch out that race, put it right there on the corner. Don't jam it into the inside. You know, you don't jam it into the sidewalls. Make sure she's lubed up, get it straight, give her the pound. Then you move over here on the direct opposite side, always in a star pattern. See how it'll dent this rod, this, what should I call this? A mild steel punch? I don't know. And on the inside, it doesn't even hit that cast wall. Now, you're gonna need these, don't throw them away just yet. Tin can. Come on, people. Japanese trucks, Japanese parts. Campo. Make sure they're nice and tight. Put it right on the edge. Remember that star pattern. Giving it up. Like I said, leave no trace left behind. You don't want to leave traces where you've been. Know what I'm saying, fellas? Keep your races clean. You're gonna need them. Races, bearing races. I just realized what that sounded like. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, please. Now that we're done with all the banner. Now this is one of the very few things I do use from AutoZone. Mobile One, synthetic. Don't ask me if it works better or worse, but feels better in my hand. Top one gets a small one, and be careful around that loop. Man, I tell you what, I've done that a few times. Some nasty cuts. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Throw that one right down in there, right the chaw. We're going to use the old race. Keep it clean, of course. Now this is important. There is other ways of doing this, but this is the way I do it. Don't have your bar or whatever you're going to use right up against the threads, because you're going to jack up your threads. Have it a little off. Smack her down. Pull your old race out. Take your little push pin, whatever you want to call it. Remember, star pattern. And typically, when you know it's seated, you'll see all the little grease start to mushroom out from the bottom. Now this one's a little easier. You don't have studs to work around. So what I'm going to do is, because when you hit it, you want to hit everything so where it's going just flat, perfect. So again, get my little block here. Fresh cut pressure treat redwood. The fence around the property is coming together swiftly. If you guys want to help me build my little compound area here to bring you guys more content like this and help you guys build your trucks and one day meet some of y'all and go wheeling as soon as all this craziness is over. And you can actually, if you guys wanted to help me, you can go down into the description and I'll have a link. I have a bunch of shirts. I actually just came out with a new design. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday it dropped. And so far, that one is my favorite. Hopefully you guys like them. You guys pick one up for your buddy, pick one up for your girl. I actually just started doing some for ladies. So go down in the description, check them out. If you want, pick one up. I would greatly appreciate it. Every penny that comes from that merch, from those t-shirts and everything, goes right back into this channel to help me bring you guys content and help you guys with your own trucks and stuff like that. And if you guys have a problem with one of your trucks specifically, go down in the comments and let me know what you would like me to make a video on next. I'll tell you what, I need to get a stronger table. Goodness. So you're gonna take your old bearing race, put it right here. Make sure your rotor's stable first day. Jeez. Now we'll do the back side first because we're going to put a seal right back on it. Now this is the part that gets kind of messy. Now this is called packing the bearings, which some of you already know. Some of you have your own way of doing it. This is how I do it. You get the grease, cup it, and you kind of press it into the bearings until you see them come out like that. See what I'm saying? You just rotate. See how it's coming out there? You do that on both sides. Doesn't really matter which side you start on, but as long as you get the grease in there. All right, now I forgot, before you put this bearing in there, what you want to do, careful of that razor edge. You want to pack the center with all that grease. Drop your bearing in, get a little grease. As if we don't have enough in there already. Get it pretty well lined up because you're going to hit it once, goal anyways. It'll go right where you want it. Use the block, distribute that load evenly. There you go. All that's cleaned up. So now that you've done the back, we can do the front because the back has that seal. Keep the bearing in, because if you did this with the front, if you did it the opposite way and you flipped it, that bearing you just packed come all the way out. Okay, now get your grease. Speaking of feeding it down in there, if you like this content and you want to see more, go down, hit that subscribe button, toggle the bell, make sure you're notified every time I drop a new video. I'm actually trying to get one video out every week. I might make it this week. We'll see. Okay, so now the center is pretty well gooped. Okay. Now that it's all packed, get the excess off. Try and keep all the grease to the middle. Because when you put your preload washers on, it's all going to smush out. Goodness. All right. Now when you pick this up, make sure that bearing is pressed in there and held in by the suction of the grease, because when you pick it up, pull it against your chest, it's going to fall out. So be real careful. All right. See you outside. Before you put that rotor with the new bearings back on, clean your spindle. There's a little brass bushing right in here that kind of sits between the inner side of the spindle and the axle shaft. That's, I'd say, about halfway there. You still got a little bit of life left in there. Be careful when you put this on. Make sure that seal's all lubed up. Just gonna push out some grease. Here's this little tooth, kind of a little keyway. There's a notch. I don't know if you saw it right on top of the spindle. Shouldn't have changed my gloves. It goes all the way back. It's your washer between your bearing and your lock nut. Okay, now the smooth side on the back. just to get it snug. Just to get it snug, right? This next step, grab your 3/8 drive, set it to 43 foot-pounds. Okay, so 43 foot-pounds, turn it to your right 6 times. 4, 5, 6. Give her a snug. Turn to your left 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Give her another snug. To your right, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to go to 23 foot-pounds. 23 foot-pounds. Starter washer. Put that on in there. Get your other lock nut. Okay. In the socket. Now this is real important. This is a pull scale. So you want to put this hook right on one of the studs. And the goal is 13 to 13 and a half pounds. Well, that's 13 right on the money. 13. And that little star washer you put on, you bend down the tabs. 2 is just fine. You don't have to do all of them. Unless you want to, of course. You get this little guy. Not really sure what you call that. So remember those bolts you used to get that plate off there? Stick it right in there. Get the axle to come all the way out. I really need those bigger snap ring pliers. Oh, there you go. Clean up after yourself. Put your seal on. Cover back on. Put your retainer bolt. This is one of the only times I'll use an impact aside from the lug nuts. Just because it's hard to gauge how much force you're actually putting on the stud or the bolt. So you get your cone washers, slap them back in there. Get your normal washers, which are probably already shot. They lost all their spring. And in the star pattern, just give them a little buzz after you snug them. Of course, all in a star pattern. Okay. Normally I'd use a mallet, but you just smack it real softly. Should be alright. Next, caliper bolts. Actually, before we put that on there, let's probably get it on that rotor, huh? I always put a little bit of anti-seize. You know, I really love this stuff. Unfortunately, you always end up looking like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. Anti-seize only because I know what it's like to get these things off when they're being stubborn. Snug that one up. Don't tighten it yet. Get your other guy. I think it's like 98 foot-pounds. I just put a good snug on them because they are lubricated. That anti-seize, and they'll be fine. A real good snug. Okay. Now with these, it's very important if you run wheel spacers, put them on tight. Make sure the studs are clean. So I'm going to show you a proper way to put these Spider Tracks wheel spacers on. And it's the only spacer, in my opinion, that you should run. They're more pricey, but I've seen others crack. I'm not saying Spider Tracks don't crack. I'm just saying I like my wheels to stay on. So you get your Loctite, not the stuff that they send with these, because they do send you some form of red Loctite. Get the actual Loctite 272. And don't be a stranger with it. Don't be shy. And I know it says don't use an impact on these aluminum. There's an adjustable torque rating on this little monster. I think this is a 500 foot-pound gun on 3 on full blast, full bore. I'm only going to put it on 1, and I'm only going to give it 1 or 2 ugga-duggas. If you don't know how much that is, look it up. It's actually a technique on how to measure force. So we're going to use that impact to just kind of get her centered, and then we're going to come back with a torque wrench and put them up to 90 foot-pounds. Okay, star pattern. Okay, now you take the torque wrench, set it to 90 foot-pounds, 90. Now on the wheel studs, on the spacer, I will use a little bit of anti-seize. Most of the time you're using an open end lug nut, exposed to the elements, and if you strip out one of these, you might as well throw away that $140, $150 spacer. First setting first, just to get them snugged up. Star pattern, send her on home without the extension. So that is it. Hopefully you guys got some type of information, some type of value out of this video. If you did, like I said before, go down, hit that subscribe button. This is all we do. We do Gen 2s, 4Runners, and Gen 3 Toyota pickups, the 3 BZs and the 22 REs. That gets annoying. If you guys like what I'm doing, hit that like button and drop a comment down. Let me know what you guys are having problems with on your trucks, and I'll do my best, my absolute best, to get to it in one of these videos to the best of my knowledge. I'll make one for you, and hopefully it'll get your truck fixed. All right, appreciate it. See you later.